Question number 2. How big of an issue is the defensive side of the court for the New York Knicks? So far this season, the New York Knicks, Bryce, they are also 10-7, second best offense in the league, 23rd in defensive rating. They have a +6 net rating, so you don't want to necessarily like over consider all of these things necessarily here. But man, structurally, when you watch this team, it does feel like a real issue that teams can really take advantage of on a night-to-night basis, depending on how they are playing. Like, for instance, Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns just are not super high-level defenders. Brunson particularly is not a good defender just because of the physical tools. Towns is good in certain situations, but is terrible in drop. He is good against like bigger bodies, like Jokic, for instance. He does a really good job with Jokic at bodying up and bothering players on the block as a post defender. But he's also never really been the best rotator around the rim in order to contest shots. Then you have Mikal Bridges, who is a whole other issue right now. I mean, you're shaking your head, Bryce. You can just take it from there on Mikal.
No, we've talked about it a little bit. I thought he was an elite wing defender, and he hasn't been. Like, this team cannot contain the ball outside of OG and I guess Josh Hart. Like, I think OG's been really good this year. I find myself every game with Mikal, and I feel like I'm crapping on him all the time, but maybe my expectations were too high. And so that has not been good. You needed those wings to be elite because you knew you weren't going to be good at the 1 and at the 5. So you needed 2 through 4 to be awesome, incredible. And that has not been the case with those guys. OG has been really good. Sorry. Other than OG.
Yeah. Mikal to me has been the bigger issue for them. Mikal is like disappointing on that end. And look, last year and when the trade happened, you and I talked about the fact that he has not been a great defender for the Brooklyn Nets, right? But the Brooklyn Nets were not necessarily contending for anything. And we said, hey, you know, maybe he gets back to his Phoenix best once he gets into a super highly competitive situation. And
the offensive usage was going to go down too. That was part of it for me, right? Like, he doesn't have the insane usage offensively, more energy to play defense.
Absolutely true. My issue for him right now is that he doesn't slither around screens quite as well as what he used to when he was with Phoenix. I feel like his hips are a little bit slower and a little bit more robotic, and thus he gets clipped on those screens more often than what he used to when he played for the Suns particularly. And that's a real problem. Like, he is not right now an elite level defender. Honestly, I think he's been a bad defender this year to this point. That's not to say he can't turn it up and get better and improve. We've seen it before from him. But to this point, I think he's actually been like a slightly below average defender. Let's get to a quick little note from PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money action. There are over 10 million members. Like I said a second ago, they invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. PrizePicks always puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. We are big fans of PrizePicks here. We absolutely love the app and what they're doing for the daily fantasy sports scene. Download the app today and use code GameTheory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today and use that code GameTheory to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, here's why I am less worried about the defensive side of the court for the Knicks than I am the Lakers. They're going to get Mitchell Robinson back.
That's right.
Mitchell Robinson is a player that makes this roster with Karl Towns make a whole lot more sense. Towns can slide to the 4. They can bring Josh Hart off the bench. But here's the issue. If Mikal isn't a great defender, then you still have Towns, Brunson, Mikal to be able to potentially attack on the defensive side of the court if you're an opposing offense. Now, Mikal is still long against a team like the Celtics. He's okay because guys like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they are good matchups for Mikal, more so than when he gets switched onto a guard, right? When he gets switched onto a guard, I feel like there's just like a real issue there, and he doesn't really have the speed to be able to recover. Against those guys where he can body up, I'm not saying he's like a great defender at this point, but I do think that there are solutions that can occur. I'll be interested to see how, look, the big thing with Mitch is like, what is he when he comes back?
Yeah.
Is he fully healthy? Is he somebody that can play 25 to 30 minutes a night? If he's not, then like you're bringing him off the bench and he's playing 15 to 20 minutes a night and you're still dealing with Towns for, 25 to 30 minutes a night at the center position. But the key for the Knicks now moving forward, once Mitch gets back, is figuring out, okay, can these two play together in a consistent, substantial way? If they can, great. If they can't, they probably still have to go out and find another move to make in order to solidify their defense.
And I mean, I know it's always a conversation with Tibbs. I'm interested to see how this regular season wears on these guys. All 5 starters are playing more than 33 minutes a night. 3 of them, all 3 of those wings are playing 36 plus. Even Deuce is right there at 27. And so I know this is how Tibbs does it. I know this is how they play. I'm just interested how it plays out. Sam, I've been thinking about this. How crazy is it that the Knicks and Timberwolves traded with each other and both got 13 spots worse in defensive rating from where they were last season? The Knicks went from 10th last year to 23rd right now. And the Timberwolves, I know we're not talking about them, but they went from 1st to 13th. So like you would think one of them would get better or something. Like, no, they both just got substantially worse than what we saw them last regular season after this trade was made.
Yeah, and I was higher on that deal for the Timberwolves at the time than what I should have been at the end of the day. Because watching Randall defend for the Timberwolves, I mean, Knicks fans know this. I wasn't saying that Randall was ever a good defender. I think he's been actually worse so far for Minnesota. He's never been like the most attentive defender by any stretch, but I felt like Tibbs would get him to lock in from time to time. I mean, with Minnesota, he has been truly terrible on that end of the court. I mean, I feel like every video I break down where the Timberwolves are defending, I'm just like, well, Randall probably should be a little bit more engaged here. Well, Randall just got back cut. Like, I mean, come on, guys. We gotta get serious about this at some point.